back to sleep, but I stayed up all night constantly questioning what had just occurred. I took the next day off sick. I felt drained. I can't say for sure, but I think it was the cloaked being that I saw with the praying mantis alien that I reported in my first incident, but I'm not sure. I made an image so you can get an idea of what it looked like. I wouldn't say it's completely accurate, but it does definitely capture the eerie, unemotional gaze of the red eyes. Also, at the time, as you can imagine, for a long time, I was still in shock. It hits you hard. It took me a long time to report the first mantis incident and come to terms with it. Looking back on it, this seemed to be the catalyst for the increased alien activities that happened afterward. After this incident, for several weeks I slept with a side lamp on, but ended up not being able to sleep, so I now just use a small light by the side of my bed. My son doesn't even sleep with a nightlight. Bruh.
So on December the 18th, I was staying at my brother's house. I mean, not me, but I'm continuing his
You could,
thing
though.
here. Yeah, I mean, I could. He'll probably be here on the 18th. So on December the 18th, I was staying at my brother's house. He lives a few miles away. I slept in the spare bedroom, which is adjacent to the neighbor's side. The walls are really thin, so thin that you can hear the individual words in the neighbor's conversation. I was so tired, I fell asleep around 12:30 p.m.
Was this the guy that could hear the walls talk? Yeah.
The walls talked to him, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't the neighbors.
Without any warning, I found myself wide awake and completely unable to move. The clicking sound was continuously screeching in my head. I screamed out, "Ah! What the hell is going on?" And please include every swear word you know. It says that in here. I mean, fuck, shit, piss, ass, I don't know. No sound came out of my mouth. With every muscle I could muster, I pushed myself up on my side and turned my head to the bottom of the bed. Standing before me was a tall mantis-like being, the same mantis being I had seen before. This wasn't like the short cloaked being I saw before. The terror I felt upon seeing this sight was completely overwhelming. The only way I can describe it is it feels like waves of fear washing over you. I'm having trouble writing this. Just recounting it is tough. It was wearing a long, dark robe. It was about 7 feet plus tall and vaguely humanoid-ish. The body was extremely bony and skinny with a long, black, snake-like neck. Its head was grayish, blackish, and triangular in shape, reminding me of a skull. The eyes were bulbous, black, and rounded with a liquid-like appearance. In fact, it seemed to me everything on the mantis was liquidy looking, like oil shimmering in the sun.
Awkward. That's weird.
The arms were extremely long, with multiple joints extending out of a messiah pose. And apparently he knows yoga, too. The forearms were bent forward longer than the rest of the arm. This really is a living nightmare.
Is this not what he saw?
Yeah.
Kaminoan?
Sure.
From Star Wars? This picture looks very
Yeah, that doesn't
close.
look dissimilar. That does have a mantis-like appearance.
They're often robed, or appear to like have robe-type
Interesting.
suits.
They do have like those long forearms and kind of gangly fingers, too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Good Star Wars. Cool.
Thinking about it.
It's the head and arms that give the appearance of a praying mantis, and unlike the first time I met this alien, I got a really good look at it, which gave me enough detail to make an image. Link in the description to all of this again, and it does look very similar to
badass drawing.
That right there. Look at right there. The thing that you just pulled up, it's got like the lines on its neck and everything too.
Yeah.
The eyes are bigger on his drawing than that, but this is
a
good comparison, Connor.
I think I would be less afraid of the Kaminoans than if it was more insect-like.
Its hands kind of look like the praying mantis-y in this image.
Yeah. For sure.
So as soon as it noticed me, the mantis was, with extreme speed, extended a huge bony leg from beneath its robe and ran directly into and through the wall. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but its feet made a clunking sound as it ran across the floor, confirming this was a solid object moving through the room. As it ran through, I could see a strange red glow where its body had come in contact with the wall.
It ran through the wall, and he just said running across the floor means it was a solid object. I'm not sure what
He heard it. He heard it on the floor. He could physically hear it, but then it ran through. So like it ran through the wall. He's like, "Whoa!" But I heard it, so like it was a thing. And also, he's like, "I was astonished. This has happened to you 8 times now. Fucking get over it."
I wasn't expecting this. Holy shit!
Really, this is their MO. Like they do it every single time.
You saw us through the wall.
At the same time, a door to a built-in wardrobe on the same wall rattled loudly as if it was hit by some kind of energy field. All of this happened in only a few seconds, maybe even shorter, but I got a damn good look at the thing. At this point, the neighbor from next door shouted, "Oi, what's going on?" Sorry. I don't know where that came from.
It was good. I liked it.
Okay, good. The way this skeletal alien moved was jerky and fast, like a huge scuttling beetle. I was completely speechless. So many mixed emotions came at once. I was in awe. I was tired, shocked, confused, and scared, but also relieved I wasn't dead. This is how intense these incidents are. I mean, it could have easily killed me. Nobody would ever know, and it's not like as if the police are going to find my body and reach the logical conclusion that, yep, he was killed by an alien. It made me think, how many people, if any, have been killed by aliens? That should have been our Instagram poll this week. This did not feel like a peaceful encounter. I woke up into a nightmare. I checked the time. It was roughly 2:45 a.m. As you can imagine, I stayed up for the rest of the night, unable to go back to sleep. The next day, I tried to ask my brother if he noticed anything strange last night. He said he didn't notice anything. I didn't mention the man just being, I'm not stupid. Most people, if I told them, wouldn't believe you, or worse, think you're crazy.
Are we going to read more?
We can fucking keep going. There's another fucking couple of pages on this one and then another page.
Alrighty. 6-hour
more
podcast
on it.
coming in.
I don't care if it's 2 hours.
I don't care either. But we are just reading it right off this website.
Again, lots of links to this one.
Apparently this is...
But this is his account that he wrote in as well, so it's not like they wrote this.
On January 16th of 2004, things were quiet. Although I'm convinced things have happened while I've been asleep, this is the one I originally wanted to report. In the middle of the night, I suddenly found myself wide awake. A loud buzzing sound filled my ears. I was curled up on my bed in fetal position, facing the closest wall. I felt a force push on my back, on the back of my head. I wouldn't say it hurt exactly, but it was extremely uncomfortable. Force choked. I wish I could do that. Again, I heard the loud clicking sound, which he links back to the sound we listened to earlier. Maybe I'll just include that every time we say clicking sound.
The loud clicking sound. It's not bad, actually.
Sounds like scuttling. I don't know. Scuttle. This time, it panned from my right ear to my left. I looked at my arm. It was covered in a bluish-purple, pulsating energy. My brain tried to make sense of the situation and search for a rational explanation. I couldn't move my legs or arms. I had sleep paralysis. I found he could just move his head. Somehow, I managed to break free and use all my effort to turn around. Standing before me in the center of my bedroom was some kind of short humanoid creature with a large mantis/fly-looking head. A beam of energy was coming from the alien to me. Thousands of thoughts entered my head at the same time. That's not supposed to be there. What is that? Why don't I feel scared? Can I fight it? I can't move. This isn't a dream. I felt I had known this being all of my life. I also felt that I'd been manipulating into feeling this. I then heard a slow, deep voice almost overriding all my other thoughts. It seemed to be communicating telepathically. It said, in quotes, in an abrupt manner, "Now do you understand?" Yes, I found myself answering, but I have no idea why I said it because I didn't understand. I didn't understand any of this. Good, it replied. I turned my head back towards the wall and shut my eyes. The buzzing sound stopped and I felt extremely tired. I collapsed and lost consciousness. But I got a good look at this thing. The creature was humanoid and 5 foot 5 inches or 1 meter 40 centimeters tall, coming in with those EU standards. I made a mental note where its head came up on my wardrobe and measured it the next day. Smart guy. Kudos, I wouldn't have thought of that. Also, you're laying down, though. You're looking up.
That's an interesting note. Well, I think he said he looked down. He was in the fetal position. He looked down at the bottom of the bed, I think. I hate when he fucking throws these lines in there like, my brain tried to make sense of the situation and search for a rational explanation.
You don't need to add that.
It's definitely like, it was covered in energy. I couldn't move my arms or legs. Like, it's definitely not necessary, but okay.
Just wondering what the fuck's happening. Me too, man.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Its head was huge in relation to its body. Its eyes were extremely large, shiny, insect-like, and were supported by big sockets. My first impressions were that it looked like a cross between a praying mantis and a fly. This being did not look like the tall praying mantis beings. I actually looked to see if I could see its arms to see if they were bent like a praying mantis, but the arms were hidden by a dark black cloak. Again, the being appeared to be surrounded by a bluish-purplish energy. We just go with blurple for the rest of the
Sure, dog.
episode?
You're inventing a new color.
Blurple. In the center of its cloak was a golden badge. I was more preoccupied with getting a description of the alien, but there was definitely a design or symbol on it that I just couldn't make out. He was getting a description of the alien, but he didn't get a description of the jewel that was inside of its chest.
I mean, maybe it was too small to see.
Possibly. He looked closer at its head, though, Jacob. It had 2 protrusions between the eyes and a mass of protrusions where its mouth would normally be.
Like a Zoidberg?
All at the same time, another part of my brain was thinking, what does it eat? A leaf. What evolutionary path did it take? It reminded me of a mustache, giving it a vague comic look, but trust me, the overall look was one of menace. That is why I've included 2 images, one to show the details, and the darker one so you can get a sense of what it's like to actually wake up and see one of these things.
The drawing looks like Zoid. It's like a gray alien with a Zoidberg mouth.
Yeah. And then this one just looks like he filled in the rest, like the outline of the drawing with like some cosmic design.
Yeah.
I was left feeling mixed emotions. I was feeling scared, and again, I was also feeling relieved that they had tried to communicate with me and weren't going to kill me. Did he say that?
At one point he kept talking about like how he felt like he was like some of them weren't good experience, like they were not there with positive intentions.
He was manipulated into thinking that this was a dream. Like
there's all of them are fucking
I was also feeling relieved that they had tried to communicate with me and they weren't going to kill me. I felt with the first incident. This was the first time they had tried a communication. I kept thinking, what did they/it mean? Now do I understand? It sounded like a command, not a question. I also felt relieved that at least I knew within myself I wasn't going mad. The next day I woke up like my body had been through hell and back. I'll read this next cloaked being one real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just as I'm trying to come to terms with this, on Saturday, the 13th of March, 2004, I woke up to see a cloaked being standing in the centre of my room. It had the same shape as the short fly head mantis thing, but I couldn't say for certain. I heard a popping sound, and the being quickly disappeared. Again, I wouldn't have mentioned before because I didn't get a good look at what it was, but I think the sound could be of importance.
So then I guess the next day, the latest incident happened on Sunday, the 14th of March, 2004. This time I woke up to see 2 of the tall praying mantis type standing in the middle of my room. The perspective I was seeing them was from the opposite position of the bed I had gone to sleep in. They looked as if they were engaged in a conversation, making high-pitched, almost digital clicking sounds. He didn't link to it there at each other. I was too tired to be afraid, so I just concentrated on making a mental description, cross-checking it with the ones I'd seen before. Both were extremely thin and tall, well over 7 feet high. One was slightly taller than the other. Their necks are long, flexible, and tube-like, and don't look strong enough to support their triangular heads. It was as if the head was floating while the neck followed in a smooth but jerky fashion. I feel like this is such a good description of these.
Yeah, but that's contradictory. Smooth but jerky?
Like,
literally opposite.
I would say like...
Okay, snake.
That's kind of what that's like to me.
Okay, I can get
undulating sort of.
Get behind that.
The neck and head moved in a way that reminded me of the old stop-motion monster films, or like a lizard. Quick, fast pause, quick, fast pause.
I don't get it.
I don't fucking know, dog. Both were wearing long black robes and again looked like liquid oil. On the side of the face, I could clearly see a small round hole just below the eyes. I felt completely drained and couldn't move. I tried to move. I tried to get up, but just couldn't. I just had time to think, bastards, before slipping back in unconsciousness. Some weird gimp shit here. I would really like some answers. Somebody somewhere must know this is going on. I'm not involved in any abductee groups and haven't had any hypnosis sessions, etc. Everything I've written about is from memory alone. I don't want to be patronized by theories of lucid dreaming, sleep paralysis, or fantasy-prone personality. I know the difference between a dream and something solid in 3D space. I think it's pretty obvious by now that UFOs are real, so let's get information on who's flying them and what they want. All of this started to happen when I saw a UFO, a ball of light, above my house in 1996. I had another UFO sighting, see below, in 1997. I can say this is real, this is happening, and I don't like it, I don't need it, and I don't want it. I could really do without any of this in my life. I want to stop. I've pleaded with them to leave me alone. The fear and trauma I've experienced is getting to be too much. I'm dealing with this because I've got no choice. I don't know what's going on or what they want. I reckon I've confused them. I feel they are confused on why I wake up during certain medical operations and on my reaction to the red-eyed cloaked being. It seems to happen in phases. I try to avoid sleeping between 2 and 4 in the morning, but obviously I don't keep it up for too long, so end up falling asleep, and that's when they come. I do feel like I've got an implant, and I feel like it's acting as a monitoring device. To what extent, I can't say. I'm not writing this to convince skeptics. I'm doing this for other abductees to show they are not mad, and for UFO/alien investigators to get better insight. The only thing I'm proud about of all of this is my recall. I'm trying to be a good witness. I'm trying to be as good a witness as I can be. I feel frustrated because this should be major news, but I know that if I went public with this, most people wouldn't take it seriously. And to me, this is one of the worst aspects. Knowing this is happening, but knowing that the majority of people won't believe you.
Story continues. Sea Praying Mantis account part 3. So read along.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. February 20th of 2005.
This is an email from Jim. Hi, Martin.
I feel like most of this is an email from Jim to Martin, but
this one specifically.
It does specifically denote that it is an email.
He's
not like the contact form on the website or something.
Yeah, correct. Hi, Martin. Sorry for not responding sooner. So much has happened, and this is following a review, I believe. Yeah, this is a review by Martin Jasek. He writes back response to Jim, kind of asking about things. What is all this shit? This
is
a
review from part 1 and part 2. The stuff that we just read, it's just going over that again in part.
Oh, okay.
We probably could have just fucking gone to 3 and done the short part, but then we wouldn't have had a 2-hour.
Hi, Martin. Sorry for not responding sooner. So much has happened since the last correspondence. I'm not sure where to begin. All I can say is the post-traumatic stress hits you much later. So I just needed time out from thinking about them. There have been many incidents since my last report, which hopefully I'll get to tell you about. I'm in a kind of stalemate situation with them, the aliens, and I've learned a lot. For an advanced race, they make a lot of mistakes, but they're also extremely good at their job.
Sounds backwards?
Yes. Writing about them takes a hell of a lot of effort. I'm not sure if that's because of my stress or because of their influence over me via the implant. I think a little bit of both. Still can't get over how crazy that sounds. I have taken advice from other people's suggestions concerning controlling my fear, but I haven't tried the more outlandish ones, e.g. implant zapper. I really wouldn't do that, dude.
Like an EMP?
Clear. Shock your face.
Oh, sick.
Thank you for being patient. Talk soon/soonish. Sorry if this email comes across a bit confused, but it's late. I just felt I should write to you. Take care, Jim.
Then over a month later, May 9th, 2005. Hi, Martin. Here's the problem with the write-up. Over time, I've got a lot of information from the aliens, but I believe so much of this is misinformation.
Shit.
To put it simply, is crap. And I mean total crap.
Crap.
I'm sure it's designed to discredit me when I write it. I feel stupid knowing people will think this is all ramblings of a madman. To be honest, I reckon the aliens do this often with abductees. For example, the aliens showed me a clip of black and white 50s style sci-fi movies. Yeah, I know. I believe the point of this was to manipulate me. You know, if I write it down, I'd sound like a complete moron who has taken cultural influence to another level of his imagination. But it did happen. Now the question is, do I edit the crap out and put only what I think is true information. The trouble with the strategy is I might miss something important. So I thought the solution might be to write everything down, including my thoughts, questioning the validity, but then the account comes across as convoluted and boring. I know most people don't believe any of this anyway, but I do value my credibility. I wouldn't write anything if I believed nobody would believe it. Tricky, but I'll do my best. Might need your help editing it. Anyway, have a good week. Maybe this is Prairie Man's account part 3 is where we should have started now that I'm looking at this.
Anyway, third report submitted by Jim on June 5th, 2005. Starts with, "Hi, Martin. I finished it and God, it was tough to write. I don't know how you want to edit it. You may want to edit out the swear words. I know it's a low form of communication." Excuse me? Low form of communication? High form of communication.
Insert dolphin noises here.
"But I meant every word of it. But maybe we're better off editing it out to make it more accessible. I'll be interested in your thoughts concerning the accounts. I think once you've read it, you'll understand my predicament. I feel better already. I'll send the artwork and sound files in another email. Kind regards, Jim G."
I'm going to skip the introductions by Martin and Jim because these are also long and just move right into the hologram Earth mantis fly-headed incident. This is the complete account of what happened to me on January 16th, 2004. See part 2. I think after reading it, you'll understand why I didn't submit it before. I believed it to be too out there and it would destroy and limit my credibility, but now I've changed my mind, and I think it is important to get everything in the public domain, no matter how bizarre. It started with me waking up within my dream. Remember, I believed I was dreaming, so I'm going to write it this way. I remember the time frame of my thought process. I still, no matter how futile, want to convince skeptics. I know deep down it's a waste of time without any scientific proof. But that's how I think. I guess I'm still trying to convince my former self, my old skeptical self, before any of this alien strangeness manifested in my life. I woke up, I don't know where I was, but I was standing in front of what looked like a 3D hologram of the Earth. Everything was pitch black apart from this glowing globe. I could only see half of the sphere, the top part of the globe. It was, I know I said that's so fucking weird. It was about a meter wide and very realistic detail. Now we're switching to meters, huh? I could see the major land masses covered with wisps of clouds. It was like looking down from a satellite viewpoint. I couldn't see anything else, like a room or anything, just darkness.
Hold up, Google Maps, blown away.
From a VR headset. I heard a deep voice from behind me. It was a male voice, and in slow English, it started to explain how this hologram globe worked. All I had to do was touch a continent or a country, and information would appear detailing anything I wanted to know about that place. I didn't feel scared. I felt quite calm, and it was just a little tired, slightly dazed. I put my hands forward and watched it pass through the clouds, as this was incredible. This first country I decided to choose, seeing that it had been in the news so much, was Iraq. All I did was think about it, and the globe turned itself until Iraq was below my finger. As I touched the graphic representation of Iraq, it turned bright red and rose up above the neighboring countries. Immediately, without any warning, multiple images of data appeared. The images were in round boxes of variable size, showing detailed information about the country and the recent war. Now, this is the hard bit to describe, but I could also feel the emotional collective of Iraq and its people, the pain they've inflicted and the pain they've suffered. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like tapping into some kind of energy field. Flow. The voice said, "This is the birthplace of your civilization. Now look at the state of it." I remember thinking, what does it mean? While I was just trying to make sense of it, the globe moved until I was looking at America. I pressed it on the USA, and again, it went bright red and raised itself, and I was hit by a wave of figures and information. So fast, I couldn't take it all in. I was shown September 11th and the subsequent decisions to go to war. I was still thinking about Iraq, trying to take it all in. The information/data was coming at me too fast to process. I've replicated some computer images to demonstrate the rate of the information figure. Just some fucking shitty Matrix graphics. I have great difficulty thinking about what I saw next. Recalling it fills me with dread. I was shown a deep underground military base with 7 circular levels connected by a vertical shaft.
The Umbrella Corps?
Oh shit! It does just look like a cake stand. On the 7th layer, the largest level, I was shown a cross-section revealing humans working with gray-type aliens and large praying mantis-type aliens.
Is that what these black and gray dots are supposed to be?
I assume so, yes. Those are very detailed drawings of mantis-type aliens. There were literally thousands of aliens. I saw a figure that seemed to imply around 14,000 aliens in this base. So if this is to be believed, not only do aliens exist, but they also seem very well established on Earth. The base was somewhere in a desert. I laughed to myself, oh great, so it's true then, and I'm now in conspiracy hell. Before, I didn't really buy the New World Order conspiracy stuff, but that's what I was shown. Again, who am I to believe this? Significantly, the male voice said, we have tried to communicate with them in the past, but they lie to us and try to use us. You kill what you do not understand. You humans are still so unevolved. At this point, I tried to argue some of us are trying to evolve, but we have to fight the ones that, for a better word, aren't so evolved. But not because we're cruel, but because they want to kill us. The voice didn't seem interested in having a debate. With no real pattern of context, I was next shown American corporations and how they won't stop until they own whatever resource they can lay their hands on. Again, I felt the crimes, the pain, and the collective creed and sadness of the culture. Capitalism out of control. Interestingly, I was shown a figure detailing how much energy the average American consumes. The rate of information coming at me was becoming too intense. The voice said to me, time is running out. Do you now understand? I then pressed Canada to see if I could get any information for BC Canada. Again,
as you would.
Readouts appeared. I was shown a fragmented society. I could feel the collective culture. I was shown a UFO crash on the northern border with Alaska. Isn't Alaska on the west side?
Yeah, it's on the opposite. Okay. I think it's on the northeast, British Columbia.
Northeast of the country. I was
Canadian listeners, right in.
I was shown the Canadian government helping to ship the wreckage and aliens to America. Then they were being taken to the underground base I was shown earlier. I then thought about British Columbia. The voice goes, why do you want to reveal us? As you can see humans destroy what they don't understand. And that's when they mentioned your name. One said, we know all about Martin. I thought to myself, oh shit, it can read my thoughts. This is crazy, but still a dream, right?
The fuck is Martin?
Martin's the guy he's been writing to at BC.
Okay.
I know this all sounds vague, but the whole dream only lasted 2 or 3 minutes max. I don't think the point of the dream was for me to get information like this. In fact, I know it wasn't. The point was just to show me why I must be quiet. I thought I must try and get as much information as possible. I was amazed. I thought China would be interesting. Again, the hologram turned until I could see China. I quickly pressed on China and was shown the government perceives itself to be, as the voice described, divine. Which I thought was a strange word to use. The voice behind me continued, they think that is why we are working with them. I was shown how they were waiting for the West to fall on its own accord, and then the Chinese will be the rightful leaders of the world. I was shown that there is going to be conflict with the world and extra food stocks to supply its population. I was shown that they're sitting on huge resources, but they're saving them. I could also feel and see the mega-death potential of the nuclear missiles. I could once again feel or tune in to the frustrations of the people. I felt depressed at this moment and hoped what I was shown was not true. I thought of Europe and pressed Spain. I have a Spanish friend, so I thought any information I could get to cross-related. Plus, I thought Spain would not be an obvious choice. My knowledge about Spain is limited at best. Just by thinking it, the globe hologram moved from China to Spain, but as I went to press Spain, my finger missed, and I accidentally pressed the sea just off the coast of Spain. Immediately, a circle of rounded squares rose up from the ocean. Each square revealed a picture of an animal. The first box showed a seabird, kind of like an eagle. The word extinct appeared next to it. This disappeared, and I witnessed a sea lion followed by a fish. The words extinct were next to it, all in English. As the fish was shown, I thought about the fishing stocks, and again there were the mere thought about fish, high-speed data flashed about the Earth, depicting, too fast to read, facts and figures concerning the depleted fish resource. I was shown fishing boats pulling in huge amounts of fish, beginning with the coast of Spain, and then across the Atlantic Sea, finishing the whole world. All different types of countries, fishing the ocean, depleting the resources. The voice behind me spoke in an unemotional matter of fact. You see, they won't stop until there's nothing left. This is fact. I weakly replied, there must be something that can be done. I mean, what about international treaties? I stared at the destruction and the knockoff effect. Everything's concerned. One more bit of information I definitely recall depicted was orcas, killer whales, off the coast of Canada, starving because of the lack of salmon. Again, this would not be something that I would think of or would be aware of. This was all happening so fast. I decided to go back to Spain. This time, my finger found the target. Straight away, I could feel the collective consciousness of the country. Every living form is energy. I was shown an image of what it looked like in the 16th century Spanish soldiers meeting gray aliens and tall praying mantis-looking aliens. The Spanish soldiers, without warning, pulled out their swords and began hacking the aliens apart. The voice commented on the scene of destruction. You see, you kill what you do not understand. What you fear, you destroy. I was annoyed by the way the voice kept referring to me as the collective for the whole human population. I was then shown images and data which concluded that this incident led to the rise of the Spanish Inquisition. According to the voice, many people were killed who were in contact with these so-called demons. Again, this is not something that I normally believe in, so I don't believe it could have come from my subconscious. Then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the whole thing was merely a graphic representation of my subconscious view of the planet. The voice commanded. It's time to go. Now do you understand? My last image I recall was the globe pulling away from me and me seeing the energy field from the country's populations pushing against each other in a desire to control the planet, even though it will ultimately destroy it. I tell you, we paint a depressing picture from space. All right, we're done there. That's the hologram. I mean, I'm going to skip a big chunk of this. He deals with the hologram some more.
It goes back into some things we've already talked about.
It really does. I mean, there's more. Go look at it. We already read fucking 90% of it. Actually,
of it, yeah.
There's a lot left, to be honest, looking at this. And it's going to be a fucking 4-hour podcast if we do all of it.
And we got to get to the Galactic Federation, which
Jesus
I am
fucking
poorly
Christ. All right, you're not well versed in sick. Let's go. Galactic Federation. What do you got?
All right, real quick. The Galactic Federation, according to AskingAngels.com, is an intergalactic force involving many star systems in the galaxy whose main role is the protection of free societies and planets. It represents God's will for the universe, specifically to AskingAngels.com, but there are other sites that have Ra. A lot of them are Ra as the creator.
Like the sun god or whatever?
The Egyptian god,
stuff? Yeah.
Of some sort. If you really want to go down a rabbit hole, and Jim G's story wasn't enough for you, look up the Law of One.
What is the Law of One, Connor?
I can't tell you, dude.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I tried to look, and nothing made sense to me, and it all sounded really religiously. Even if it wasn't God, it was Ra. A lot of Ra, actually. But it was all praise Ra type shit.
We know somebody who's kind of into this.
We do.
Actually into this.
I literally had her come over and was explain this to me because I don't get it. And she just kept sending me links.
If you can figure out a way, if you can convince her to talk to you a little bit about it and explain some stuff.
I'm sure I could.
Before this comes out,